Hey, this is Sonny.
I'm Coach Dom.
From Gracie Bradenton.
We have a question that we thought was really interesting, and Sonny wanted to give his 2 cents, and I want to give my 2 cents. So.
Yeah, because we disagree on this a little bit.
Because he flies off the handle, I'm going to be here to kind of temper his
I'm going to try to keep it. I want to try to rein it in. Okay. So, fake martial arts versus real martial arts. Like, which ones are which, you know? And it's hard because then you got to start naming names, and you offend
I don't think we should do that.
Group of people.
So I don't want to spend this whole video just naming martial arts that we think suck, because that would take an hour.
No,
but
I think we should name some that we think are good, though.
Yeah, I think we should. I also, though, want to just give you guys some, like a rubric you can go by.
Yeah, this is a good
decide
idea.
Whether or not information you're getting from a martial arts instructor is good and accurate information that you can use. All right? So first of all, Sonny, let's just name a couple martial arts that we think would be ones that aren't complete wastes of your time, right?
Judo.
Judo's great. Judo has realistic, grappling techniques that work on people regardless of their size, so I think Judo's great. Wrestling's like that too.
Catch wrestling I like.
Catch wrestling.
Sambo, combat sambo.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Lucha Libre, if I say it right.
Lucha Libre. I don't know enough about lucha to recommend it. I don't know, but I've heard good things. As far as like striking techniques, now
Muay
you get
Thai,
into more like
boxing,
weird territory. Muay Thai and boxing, obviously. I think if you guys have ever seen those sports, you know how much power and devastating force can be generated in those martial arts. So yeah, I would say they have some legit skills. Taekwondo even, like a lot of power can be generated with Taekwondo techniques, karate.
The people, by the way, the reason why a lot of people shit on Taekwondo is not because Taekwondo is bad, because it's not. I mean, the Olympic guys will beat your ass. You know what I mean? I mean, granted, if you get them to the ground, it's a different story. But like, those guys are badass and they hit hard. You know, those Olympic Taekwondo guys. So don't get it twisted. Like, there's some tough Taekwondo dudes and some tough karate guys, like the Kyokushin karate, man. Those guys are tough bastards. They do no pad tournaments where they go in there. I mean, they don't.
It's like full contact. Yeah.
Granted, they don't punch to the face, which is this is the big problem with karate. But they are in there going full contact with no gear. The only thing they wear is a cup and a mouthpiece.
And if you think you can't finish a person because you can't punch them in the face, you're crazy, because you could drop somebody to the body like.
But they kick to the face in these tournaments.
Yeah.
And I've seen there's like, you can YouTube Kyokushin knockouts, and there's like tons of videos of guys just getting completely knocked out cold from Kyokushin kicks to the head. I mean, like in real tournaments. So
sure,
like.
There's a lot of good techniques out there, and a lot of good styles.
Don't think automatically that karate is like terrible and Taekwondo is terrible, because.
And I like that we started with positivity in this video.
Yeah,
because we are going to go into some negative things, right? This is a shame, but one channel I always recommend to people, if you've never seen McDojo Life, go check out McDojo Life. That guy does some really good work, and what that channel's about, and what I would caution you guys with, is there's a ton of martial arts out there that, hold on to your seats, are completely fake and made up and don't work. None of the techniques work.
I agree with you.
And it's not that you can see tons of videos.
Can I just name one?
I hope you don't.
Like Sistema.
Okay, I could grant you Sistema.
Sistema with their no-touch knockout bullshit, and it's like, dude.
So this is where I can tell he's gonna get animated. Here's what you. I'm not gonna spend all day.
Pass out.
Oh, I didn't pass out. It's so crazy. It's because my toes were touching the floor. But I'm not gonna spend all day talking about why Sistema is fake or all these different martial arts that we can go into. I'm gonna give you guys some rules that you can go by, and you can decide for yourself whether or not a martial art is effective and the information you're receiving is good. First of all, I want you to ask yourself if you've ever seen a professional fighter implement the technique in question. Right? And I'm not saying that's the only thing you should look at, because professional fights have rules. There's strict things keeping the fighter safe. There's a rep there. But professional fighters tend to rely on techniques that are extremely effective and devastating, and that they can do easily. So if a professional fighter has chosen to use a technique, I usually would count that among the good techniques, right? The second thing I would look at, and Sonny would probably agree with this, is if this is a martial art that doesn't test its techniques in a live in like a live environment, you may not be able to test these techniques, right? If I'm learning to use a gun.
What he means is your partner resisting with 100%.
Right. Like if I learn to use a gun and I never go to the range and shoot it at a target, then I'm not going to be very good at using that gun. But furthermore, if I never go and try to shoot a target that's moving, I might never be able to hit that target either. So if I'm learning to shoot guns but never practicing to hit targets, it's not as useful as a skill as it could be, right? And some martial arts will teach you lots of techniques, but never have you practice them live against an opponent who's resisting you as hard as they can. And that's something that I always compare to jiu-jitsu, because if you think about it, in jiu-jitsu, we learn a technique and then we roll live. And we try to do that technique to a person who's not only resisting us as hard as they can,
but also knows what you're doing.
Also knows the technique and knows how to stop it. And if you could do a technique like that on somebody like that, you can trust that technique will work in a real life situation. But if you haven't tested the techniques that you're learning from somebody against a live person, I don't think you can trust those techniques. And when you see a video...
That's a very good bar. That's a very good bar to follow for any martial art that you're checking out.
Yeah, you should always look at that. And, you know, I'm not going to call any specific martial arts out, but I know we've probably all, if you're interested in martial arts, seen videos on the internet of, like, let's say there's two guys and they're just facing each other, and they agree, like, this is the beginning of the technique, and this guy's going to stick his hand out, and you're going to grab it, and then he's going to go, stop, and then he's going to respond this way. This is nonsense. This is fantasy. Like, no fight looks like this.
Like all the fights you've seen in the Bourne movies. Like
oh, stop.
The Bourne Identity, the Bourne, you know.
He definitely brains a guy with a candlestick in that
Bourne
movie. I think that would work.
Or whatever. But the fight, some of those fight scenes are ridiculous. Like all the way they cut the cameras and stuff.
I don't.
Like, you want to see a good fight? Watch Lethal Weapon #1 at the end when Mel Gibson triangle chokes Gary Busey.
This is where me and Sonny will start to disagree. I wouldn't look at any Hollywood movie as an example of how to fight. I would look at fights.
Well,
real
yeah,
ones.
obviously,
You know what I mean?
Obviously. But I'm just saying, if you like movies and you like, because you're just talking about John Wick and how
John Wick's dope, first of all. You guys.
John Wick.
I don't care if it's fake. It's dope.
It's not that it's fake. It's just stupid. The guy goes nuts
It's not
over a
stupid.
dog.
See, we're gonna start disagreeing here. I want you guys to take.
And
the
who
first
keeps
thing-
all their weapons in the floor? You got to bury it out with a sledgehammer.
I didn't agree with that part either. I think there's a more efficient way to store your weapons. But all I'm saying is, test your techniques.
left that life behind.
Stop. Test your techniques on live people who are resisting you. If you can't do your techniques to people who are resisting you live, throw that technique out. It doesn't work, right? And also anything involving chi, throw it out. And I'll leave you with that. That's my third rule. If it has chi in it, it's either a Naruto comic or some shit, or it's fake. So don't use that in real life.
And we just want to tell you, we're here to say it's okay to teach leg locks to white belts.
Teach leg locks to white belts. They
They
break
gotta
your
learn-
legs.
They got to learn sometime, bro.
All right, good video, guys.
All right.
Right. Hit the bell. Ding
Ding
dong.
dong.